Hey guys, so we're going to do part 2 of the Erika Patterson testimony today. I'm just going to make this intro real quick while Darrell kind of stalls for time. If you have not seen this whole thing the whole way through, I encourage you to stick around till the end because Zach Butchow, he flat out destroys Brooks' line of questioning. I mean, Darrell freaks out. It's glorious. Anyway, he's about to start, so I'll just thank y'all so much for watching, and let's just jump into it.
Funny. Were you aware that it was reported there was in fact no incident on November 20th, 2020?
He says this a lot through this line of questioning. I don't know what he's referencing when he says that there's been no incident. I know later he says he has a document that proves that there was no incident, but when the judge pushes him on it further, he backs off and he isn't able to produce anything. I don't know if somewhere maybe somebody said in a report that the incident didn't happen, so he's using that as quote-unquote evidence, but, I mean, it is so obvious that something happened. I mean, he is just, his actions here are so see-through. I did want to make a correction. I guess in the last video I said that he ran her over on the 20th, but it actually happened weeks before. And the 20th, I guess he just hits her in the face, which we'll hear in a moment here. But there were no marks, which is why the state ends up dropping the 77th charge for the 20th, because they basically had a lack of evidence. If I was the prosecution, though, I would have left in the stuff about him running her over. I mean, it basically lays the foundation of his intentions of what he's going to do on the 21st. I mean, when he's going to get in the car to head towards the parade, he even says that he's going to kill Erika. I mean, she was really the first victim. He ran her over first. So, he makes these claims that he didn't have intent and there was no intent, but he states his intent right there. I mean, he says it right to Erika's face that he's going to murder her and just gets to the parade first. So,
that's not true.
Objection. Move to strike the answer and the question.
Grounds.
Lack of personal knowledge. Hearsay.
Sustained. I'll strike the question and the answer. The reason stated, sir, rephrase, or...
So can I show the witness the same paperwork that I attempted to show?
No.
And why not?
he is so clueless. You figure he'd be kind of keyed in that him asking the judge why he can or can't do something makes him look incredibly stupid.
Not relevant.
How's it not relevant when that was just testified to? Wouldn't that be opening the door?
He at least has enough sense not to push this much further. I mean, I notice he's a lot less argumentative in front of the jury. It just goes to show how manipulative he is. I mean, he more or less shuts down the arguing with the judge as much as I think he's literally capable of. Like, he literally can't stop himself sometimes. But he'll still make snide little comments to try and suggest that there's foul play, like judicial misconduct and you trying to be slick. Basically suggesting to the jury that the defense and the judge are in cahoots. He makes these claims during his closing argument too. He says, I wish you were subject to all knowledge, except he loses his shit later on when we find out he's a sex offender, or, he's constantly making the argument about his other crimes not coming in. So he really doesn't want them to be privy to all knowledge. It's just, God, you can't have it both ways, dude. It's so fucking manipulative. It's just, irritates the crap out of me. Oppa really has him pegged. I listened to her closing argument the other day, and plain and simple, just manipulative, controlling, just a scared little chicken. It's really the best way to put it. She had him pegged, for sure. Moving on.
No. Next question.
Any reason why It would be reported no incident happened on November 20th of 2021.
Same objection.
Grounds.
Since that's not in evidence, sustained.
Grounds for the sustain.
The record speaks for itself.
So, upon speaking to Detective Goof during the first interview, do you recall why you were not forthright with information?
It wasn't that I was not forthright, I just didn't tell him everything right away.
Yeah, she wasn't forthright right away because he clearly still has control over her. That's how brainwashed abused partners become. Even right after he beat on her, while he was committing the attacks on the parade, Kirby, Corey, and Erika, they get stopped by a patrol officer. And while Kirby and Corey are trying to push her to report the violence, the battery, she's the whole time saying, no, nothing happened. Let it go. It's just... my heart aches for her. I really hope she's able to, break the cycle of abuse. I know I could speak personally that, you end up kind of falling for the same type of personalities. It's almost subconscious, it goes down to almost like a DNA level of who you're attracted to. It's really kind of sad, but you can tell she's a beautiful person who is worthy of love. She may have her addiction problems. I mean, who doesn't nowadays? But that doesn't mean that she's, again, not worthy of finding somebody who treats her with respect. Brooks going to jail was probably the best thing that could have ever happened to her because, we can see it right here in her testimony, that she just was under his control.
Why not?
I don't know, Mr. Brooks.
Yeah, see, I hate to stop again, but there it is. She literally doesn't know. She can't explain it. He just had mental hold over her. She doesn't even know why she was doing the things that she did. She was just, sorry, I keep sniffling. I have a cold, by the way, so sorry about that. But, yeah, she, doesn't even know why she's doing what she's doing. And when asked this question and looking back, that's all she can say. It's just really sad.
When speaking with a law enforcement officer, would it be fair to say that you should be truthful and honest?
I was very truthful. I didn't tell him everything at once. I told him the next day, Mr. Brooks.
And in the alleged incident on November 20th of 2021, were you injured?
No. Well, you did hit me a little, like a little.
Were you injured?
No, I didn't have any marks on me. Is that what you're asking?
So where were you injured?
By my lip?
Objection. This states the evidence.
Grounds.
I believe the witness understood the question. She answered it. It may stand.
Did your roommate observe any injuries from the alleged incident on November 20th, 2021?
Why is he pressing this so hard? It's clearly not helping him in any way. Like I said earlier, if anything, it's providing evidence that an incident did happen on the record. I mean, the state removed their 77th charge. There was no evidence that anything happened on the 20th. He's basically admitting evidence. I mean, as much as he's saying something didn't, he's still admitting new information to the record to suggest that perhaps something did. It's like his ego has to control her so much that he's willing to sacrifice his own defense to try and exert his control over her and make her seem like a liar. like I said, the state dropped the charges, so there was nothing on the record to suggest that anything happened on the 20th. Before he brings it up, I have to assume it's because he knows that something did. Erika knows that something did. So he's basically using this to exert his control over her because she knows that he's lying. And he's making her look like a liar in front of all the courtroom, attacking her character unfairly. That's the best guess I can come up with. I mean, it's just plain old control tactics. Like I said, it's clearly not benefiting him in any way. In fact, it's harming his defense. Like I said, it's destroying his character in front of the jury by pushing this so hard. It's almost like when an attorney objects too much to a certain line of questioning that they're so persistent they don't want certain testimony getting in. They're basically shining a light on a piece of evidence, telling the jury, don't look over here, I don't want you to know this. It's like the old expression, you can't put the shit back inside the donkey. Once it comes in, whether it's being denied or not, you're still exposing that something may have happened. And him being so against it happening suggests that perhaps something did. He's just too stupid to realize it.
She knew about it, but there's nothing visible on my face.
Do you know if your roommate had spoken with law enforcement about these alleged incidents from November 20th of 2021 and November 21st of 2021?
I don't know.
Did she ever tell you yourself that she was interviewed by any law enforcement?
I don't remember.
One second. So what time did you meet up with the alleged defendant on November 20th, 2021?
I don't remember.
Was it morning time? evening
Afternoon.
time? I didn't hear that.
Afternoon.
Ugh, he's always sucking on his lips. It's so gross. I heard that's a meth thing. I guess when you smoke a lot of meth, it dries up your saliva and rots your teeth. That's how you get quote-unquote meth mouth. If you watch the rehab video, he was in a documentary about drugs, and if you watch that, he has I can't tell if he's wearing a grill or if his teeth are just fuller, but it definitely looks like he has just better teeth. His teeth are bigger. You see his smile now. It's so gross. Here, I'll show you. Look at that. It's fucking nasty. He's got baked bean teeth. Looks like a fucking goblin. Ugh. Little baked beans. It's horrifying. Look at that. If an actual attorney took this long, the judge would be saying, "Defense, next question. Defense, what's your next question?" But, he's a pro se litigant, so he gets a little bit of leeway, but he takes way far advantage of it. He is just stalling. I mean, what's he got to go back to? His cell? What the fuck does he care?
To the alleged meeting up with the alleged defendant.
Objection.
Grounds.
Asked and answered.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain.
Asked and answered.
When?
Next question, please.
When was it answered? So to the best of your recollection, you can't recall why an alleged incident on November 20th of 2021 was reported to never happen.
Objection.
Grounds.
Same reasons.
Oh my god, is he seriously asking this again?
Seems facts
What
not
a
enough.
moron.
It's characterized as her prior testimony and irrelevant.
I object to that respectfully and
Next
ask for a
question.
legal finding of fact and a legal reconsideration of that ruling, Your Honor.
Denied. Noted for the record. Next question, please.
I'm trying to figure out how something got pulled out of thin air. Interesting.
Man, that condescending tone just irks me to my core. But, there's the manipulation again. He knows the incident happened. The absolute balls on this guy to just sit up there in a courtroom full of people on camera in front of a whole nation, knowing that he's lying, knowing that this happened. Like everyone else is lying but him. He knows in his heart that what he's saying is the opposite. That takes a certain type of person. Like, to have that kind of conviction and to be saying that with such levels of certainty in his condescending tone, that's lying on, like, another level. That is nuanced manipulation that comes from a lifetime of manipulating and deceiving the people you interact with on a regular basis. So those peoples that are closest to you, his girlfriend, his family, his coworkers, if he ever even had a job, it's just sickening. Like, being that good at deceitfulness is a really, really, really disgusting quality. He's just a gross human being. I find myself coming back frequently to just the term gross. He's just gross.
So it would be fair to say that you have a child in common with the alleged defendant. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah, is that the only child in common?
Yes.
You have any other children?
Objection.
That has
Grounds.
nothing to do with the case. Sorry.
Hold
I'm
on,
sorry,
there's
Your
been
Honor.
an objection. Not relevant. Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain?
The record speaks for itself. Next question.
What was the record speaking for itself? I didn't hear it.
Not relevant.
How is it not relevant?
Next question, please.
How is it not relevant?
I swear he knows what a little prick he's being right now. I mean, look at that shit-eating grin. I come back to it's just gross. I liken this kind of behavior to, like, a little kid who's acting out because nobody's paying attention to him. In the absence of good attention, he will settle for bad attention because bad attention is better than no attention. It's gross!
The child that you have in common with the alleged defendant. How old is that child?
15.
Do you keep regular contact with that child?
Off and on.
Describe what you mean by off and on.
I'll object.
Grounds.
This is not relevant.
Not relevant. Sustained.
Grounds.
It's not relevant, sir.
She answered it.
Next question, please.
And the child in common that you have with the alleged defendant, does that child live with you?
No.
Objection.
Grounds?
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained, not relevant. You don't have to answer that.
Do any of your children live with you?
She's not the one on trial here, man. None of his kids live with him, by the way. He didn't know that. And if that ain't that kettle calling the fucking the pot black, I don't know what is. Look at his face. He knows what kind of game he's up to. He's saying to Erika with this look, you wanted to play dirty, you wanted to drag my name, you wanted to leave me in my cell to rot, now it's my turn. Now I get to drag your name. Again, thank God What Chow is there to do what he can to put a stop to some of this. It's disgusting. As if her kids have any bearing on the fact that he attacked a parade in the slightest. This is all just for his own enjoyment. There's no strategy, there's no plan here. In fact, it was probably this question and this line of questioning that was the motive behind him defending himself in the first place. He had to have known that there was no chance he was getting off. You know what I mean? So he might as well take the benefit. He's so angry at Erika that she turned him in and is basically leaving him to rot in jail, that he's now attacking her and attacking her character in front of, again, a courtroom and the nation. You know, as if her kids have any bearing on this at all. There is no conceivable way that her being a bad mom and not seeing her kids could somehow aid in the defense against him murdering and battering all the people in the parade. These facts are completely irrelevant. He's literally just getting his rocks off on controlling her and humiliating her one last time. You know, I said it in the first video that this is, to me, his most vile moment. Like, we see him be really, really vile in a lot of moments throughout this trial, but I don't know, you know, maybe I take this a little personally. It hurts me seeing him do this to her. And it's frustrating that he has such lack of self-awareness to see what it's doing to his defense. Like, he's actively hurting his own character trying to attack hers. He's blind to his own motivations. It's sad, man. It's sad.
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain?
Not relevant.
That goes to the credibility, Your Honor, so how is it not relevant?
The objection has been sustained.
Okay, he is smiling right now. He literally cannot control his own joy. He knows what he's doing. He's being deliberately a little shit. It's like he's talking to his mom, you know, like a teenager. Like he's deliberately being disobedient and just smiling at her while he does it.
For relevancy. I object to that and would like to inform you.
He is laughing right now. He is laughing right now. Part of him must know that the sob sit, that the sob sit tactics are just complete bullshit. Part of him must know that.
Not fall within the categories listed. Next question.
Is that lawful law?
Next question, please, sir.
I'm getting there. This is lawful law.
Wisconsin State Statute 906.16.
That doesn't answer my question, but okay.
How does it not? You just asked if it was lawful law and she cited a law. Beyond that, every decision she makes is lawful law. She's a fucking judge. I wish she flexed some of these laws on him more often just to shut him up. Like, I wish she could rein in his insanity a little bit more. I get that she's giving him leeway for the appeal, and in hindsight, he has no chance, but I really wish she would have handled him with a firmer grip.
Reno, Nevada.
How long have you known the alleged defendant?
16 years.
You made reference to meeting in Nevada. Do you recall where you met at in Nevada?
No. I don't remember.
In relation to the alleged incident on November 21st of 2021, would it be fair to say that there's been no contact between you and the alleged defendant?
Not since then, no.
Thank God she was able to get that on the record. We'll hear about it again later, but she didn't write no damn letter. She also didn't take any of his 37 phone calls. She dropped his ass like a fucking bad habit as soon as she heard about the tax, and good for her for doing so.
Or the objection being sustained does not fall within the categories listed. Next question.
Is that lawful law?
Next question, please, sir.
I'm getting there. This is lawful law.
Wisconsin State Statute 906.16.
That doesn't answer my question, but okay. Where did you meet the alleged defendant?
Reno, Nevada.
How long have you known the alleged defendant?
16 years.
You made reference to meeting in Nevada. Do you recall where you met at in Nevada?
No. I don't remember.
In relation to the alleged incident on November 21st of 2021, would it be fair to say that there's been no contact between you and the alleged defendant?
Not since then, no.
That last answer was kind of low. Did you say no?
I said no, not since then.
So that would mean, assuming, that would mean no contact at all via phone or anything like that.
No.
So my question would be,
Okay, let's pause here because an important moment is about to happen and I want to provide context. Just like I stated, she has had no contact, no letters, no calls, nothing. He has made several attempts to contact her, and they've all been rejected. Erika sent his friend 2 photographs. It's the friend at the end of the trial who testifies for him, the one with the seizures. Erika sends her 2 pictures of her granddaughter. Melissa the friend, sends the photos then to Darrell's mother, who then in turn sends them to Darrell. He's caught on a jailhouse phone call recording, talking to his mom about this. We are about to see a disheartened and desperate plea for Darrell to get these photos into evidence, and they're on total false pretenses, violating almost every rule of evidence. Just keep in mind for the duration of this, I'm going to let it play for a little bit, but every word is a lie.
I don't know if you can see them from here, but do you recognize these pictures?
You need to show those to the state. The bailiff will take them.
Look at Offer's face. Oh my god. She's like, this motherfucker.
That's not proper procedure, sir.
Watch out! Mr. Adams! He's in straight fucking dad mode right now. Look at him. Oh my god! Oh. Look at him. Oh god. King. Watch out. I love you. He's giving him the I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Just disappointed, Darrell.
I'm going to object to those being shown to the witness. They have no relevance whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes, they
tell
do.
him.
And I'll
Sustained.
get into how they have relevance.
They've also never been disclosed to the state before this moment.
Sustained.
Sustain why?
Not relevant.
They are relevant. It creates foundation. And I can prove that.
I'll take up the issue outside the presence of the jury at the conclusion of this witness, and if need be, bring the witness back in. But next question, please.
And these need to be offered into evidence as well.
Okay, so I kind of feel for Darrell in this moment. You know, a lot of his frustration is coming from misguided feelings that he's not getting a fair shot at a defense. I mean, he genuinely thinks that he can just drop these photos on the desk and they're just going to be admitted to evidence. Poof. He is so out of his depth that he does not understand what he does not understand. He does not know what he does not know. He makes an argument that the state was allowed to mark the music video out of nowhere, I think just a couple of days before this. So, in all fairness, he should be able to allowed to admit these photos as well. He even makes the reference to Opera saying that she can just bring anything out of her briefcase at any time. The problem is the state had the music video in the discovery. He just didn't do the legwork to realize that. Opera didn't just pull the music video out of nowhere. The video was in evidence. They just marked it as an exhibit. Note the difference in terms here. They marked an exhibit. He is trying to admit evidence. In case you don't know what I'm referring to, during Brooks's cross of Detective Casey, he questions him on how he was able to identify Brooks in the music video, even though in the picture he has his back turned. Obviously, Casey has seen the entire video, so he knows it's Brooks, but Darrell will just not let it go. He basically argues semantics until he gets the detective to say that you can't identify Brooks in the picture. So, of course, the state is going to mark the video to publish as an exhibit during their redirect, because of course they would. He throws another bitch fit, claiming it's mind-boggling, as if he understands why it is or isn't being admitted in the first place. This is just another case for Darrell Brooks, attorney at law, and he has never, in his entire career as a litigator, he has never seen this level of judicial misconduct. Long story short, the videos aren't admitted because, of course they're not. The judge ultimately decides what's admissible and what's not. She's taken an oath to adhere to the rules of evidence. It does not take her long to suss out that where he's getting these photos from might not be as legitimate as he's claiming. So, in Darrell's mind, he's tried to admit the recall, it was denied. He's tried to admit the pictures, they were denied. All of his sob-sick claims that his jailhouse buddies are hyping him up about and swearing up and down are fact and law. They're all just disregarded as what they say is legal mumbo jumbo. I mean, they are, but they're just disregarded immediately as soon as he tries to make any type of argument about sob-sick claims. He gets his right to testify forfeited for him by the court, and the court has to rest his case. I understand why towards the back half of the trial he starts losing his shit. You know, I try to put myself in his shoes as much as I can, but it's like putting your mind inside the head of a psychopath, you know. It's but all of those things happen because of his lack of understanding of law and courtroom procedure, and quite frankly, his own conduct. I feel like the judge would have been a lot more open to hearing his BS if he wasn't fighting with her at every moment. I mean, it's exhausting just to watch. He hung himself, ultimately. Darrell Brooks' final victim. Himself. Oh wait, no, sorry, his third-party intervener. My bad.
You stated that there's been no contact. How would the alleged defendant obtain photographs from you if there's been no contact?
Objection.
Grounds.
Assumes the fact, not in evidence.
Grounds.
Sustained. Assumes facts not in evidence, not relevant.
How's it not relevant? Photos just don't pop up out of the blue.
Mr. Brooks assumes facts not in evidence,
No,
and at this
facts.
point
I got
of
pictures right here.
after
Facts.
the
Lies.
alleged date of violation here, it's not relevant.
Alleged violation.
You're
For the record.
correct. After the date charged, that the dates that are charged for these allegations, you are absolutely correct.
Thank you. Have you, since the evening of November 21st of 2021, have you attempted to contact the alleged defendant?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
I'm going to excuse the jury. I'll rise for the jury.
Oh my god, that stare down. And the pacing. He's staring at Erika if you can't tell. This is very exposing of his controlling and manipulative behaviors.
Think you be seated?
It's awful funny. Your Honor, I find it.
Hold on. All right, sir, I'm going to let you make an offer of proof as to why you believe the photographs and the questioning about contact after the alleged incident is relevant.
It's relevant because these were sent by the witness.
Erika is sitting 10 feet away from him, knowing this is a bald-faced lie. God, she must be wanting to just scream with, like, all of her fiber of being. This man is lying right now. The unmitigated gall to do this in front of her is just abhorrent.
It assumes a fact not an evidence, but
You
what
want
is...
the letter
hold
too?
Hold on. Tell me the basis you believe there's been communication and why you believe it's relevant to her testimony.
It's relevant because it was testified to her first time testifying, and then also by was the last guy, Guth, that he was told that the witness was supposed to be so deeply afraid of me and all this type of stuff. So if you're so deeply afraid and worried about somebody and this and that, why would you sneak and have contact?
Do you want to open up the door to the other act's evidence of
That's
you?
not opening.
No.
That's not
Hear me
opening the
out.
door.
He has no idea if it's opening the door or not. So much of this guy's defense throughout this trial was just contradicting everyone else's position. He literally thinks if he can just convince the judge that she'll admit these pictures under false pretenses, with no evidence to support it, no reference in law, no thought process whatsoever. He just literally rejects whatever the other party is saying without considering their position. He's just literally reacting. That's a lie. That's a lie. Your Honor, that's a load of crap. It's obvious. Like, he's not making any type of coherent argument. He's just arguing for the sake of arguing. He knows the letters are from her. He's literally going to say in a second, because they're from her. Like, what? How do you know that? It's not opening the door because it's not opening the door. Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Case settled. Dismiss all charges. It's kind of sad he thinks that this will work. And disgusting that it probably has for large portions of this guy's life.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
These witnesses have been incredibly careful to abide by my
Look at his
rulings.
monkey suit.
Sometimes in a court
up.
of law, when there are pretrial rulings, the testimony of a witness needs to be said in such a way not to run afoul of that. This witness, Detective Guth, I believe Detective Casey and others, Corey Runkle, and even Nicholas Kirby yesterday, this court has all had to stop them so that they didn't run afoul, or they've stopped themselves so that they didn't run afoul of the court's pretrial ruling on other acts evidence between you and this witness. And I have been very, very careful to make sure that doesn't come in. But if you keep questioning her about whether she's afraid or not, or why she wouldn't have contact or not, you are opening the door to that testimony.
Oh, Judge Darrell. Slay Queen. That was eloquent, well stated. She didn't mince her words. Her explanation as to why the photos are unadmissible, before she's even established that he's necessarily lying, by the way, is basically inarguable, and he doesn't even let her finish before he starts arguing with her. There's no response to counter what she has just laid before him. Listen to his response. He was literally not even listening, let alone comprehending what she was actually putting in front of him. He's just waiting for his turn to speak, so she doesn't yell at him for interrupting.
All of my rulings have been made to prevent what could be seen as prejudicial evidence. The standard's not prejudicial. The standard's whether it's unfairly prejudicial. But you can open the door to that, sir.
It's unfairly prejudicial that I have a document stating that November 20th never even happened, but yet and still the witness can get on the stand and lie on the stand.
Have you turned that document over to the state?
Come on, man. Y'all know that's not right. Y'all know that's not right.
Then you need to immediately turn it over to the state right now. It may become relevant, but no one has seen it. When did you receive the document? Hold on. I'm having you make an offer. When did you receive the document?
Okay, but I just want to state for the record, Your Honor, that's kind of biased because the state did the same thing yesterday with creating an exhibit right on the fly that didn't even exist that I didn't have. But
that's not true. That's a misstatement of the evidence.
That is true.
No.
She said it herself.
No. Marking an exhibit is not creating an exhibit.
No, not marking an exhibit. She said
we're not going to go down a tangent, sir.
Right,
I'm going to focus on this, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to make a record.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
When did you receive this document that you claim was sent by this witness.
It's not claim. It's for a fact.
Sir, it hasn't been established
It's for
yet.
lies.
I need to make a
So
record.
do y'all want
I
the
want
letter?
to see
Y'all
the
want the
letter.
envelope? What?
I want to see the letter.
Okay, so I gotta.
And I wanna
so
know
now I gotta
when you
bring that
received
in.
it.
I gotta bring that in.
Why would you
Every time
bring the
this is
pictures
wrong,
and not
every time
the
I
letter?
present something that needs to be made for the record and placed in the evidence, it's a problem. But the state can do it, no problem.
It's not, sir. There are proper procedures,
God.
and I
Okay,
want
well,
you to
Gangster
make a
speak
record.
is
If
so
I don't, if
mean.
you don't make a record,
So
then
what?
I can't make a ruling.
It threw people off a loop. They weren't ready for it. They scared of it. That's what it is. Come on, man.
Mr. Brooks.
Come on, man.
God, with the
You
gangster
are-
speak.
you aren't
Stop it.
letting
You're a
me
public
ask
servant.
The
the
Your
state
Honor.
has
I respect
boxed
your courtroom.
up
I
and
respect you.
gift
You're a
wrapped this
public servant,
case
though.
over
Your
to
job
him.
is to be the
One of
referee.
those fancy Christmas bows
Is it or
on
is it
top.
not? You
He
stated
is
so
on
yourself,
so
on
many
record, that
levels
your job is
outgunned
being the
and
umpire.
literally unable of comprehending it.
Ms. Patterson, please be excused.
Yes.
Once
you can
again,
be
Witch Owl, the
excused.
only
My
one paying
apologies.
attention to the victim
My
on the
apologies
stand.
too, but it needs to be some truth.
Yeah, my apologies
Especially
too.
when we're talking
Bullshit.
about stuff
If he
that
had
didn't
his
even
his
happen, but
choice,
they're
she'd be
allowed
on
to
that
get on the
stand
stand
all
and say that
day.
it happened when they know
He
it didn't
clearly
happen.
made
So
a
let me
big
make-
show at
I'm gonna make
keeping
a
her
record about
waiting
what
as
you
long
said
as
ridiculous,
possible.
man.
Count
He'd love to
77.
have her there all damn
the
day.
And what happened to that paper? Because it was on the table. Then when I
Mr.
come
Brooks,
back in,
I
it's
need to
nowhere
make
to
a
be found.
record of a variety of
So who
things.
took my paper?
And you keep interrupting
Yeah,
me
bro. Somebody took your
repeatedly
fucking
today.
sob
I have
sit
shown an
script
abundance
or
of
your
patience
doodles.
this morning. I've warned you repeatedly about being removed from the courtroom. And then every time I try to get into it, you, meaning an explanation and make a record, you interrupt, you attempt to divert everyone from what is being done this very second.
I didn't attempt to do anything.
Yes, you do it repeatedly,
Okay,
sir.
whatever.
So you're doing it once again.
Whatever. Just make your record.
The document that Mr. Brooks wanted to show Detective Guth and this witness was a letter sent from the state of Wisconsin to the court regarding count 77.
Oh,
The
okay.
state sought to dismiss that count, and they have prosecutorial discretion, and I granted the request that the charge be dismissed.
Why was the charge dismissed?
And that's, I can't answer. It was dismissed because the
So
request was made.
he's using
They don't
the
need a
state's
reason.
letter to dismiss the
There's
charges
an
as
abundance
evidence
of
that
case law
nothing ever
about
happened. That's
prosecutorial discretion.
he's stupid.
And
Shocking.
they chose not to pursue that. My
Your Honor,
guess
Your
is
Honor,
maybe
with
to
all respect.
simplify things and to keep this tidy. I don't know. You know what? I'll indulge you. Attorney Opper, would you like to provide a basis for why the state sought dismissal of that charge prior to the start of this trial?
Yes, Your Honor, because as Ms. Patterson just testified a short while ago, she did not have any visible marks or injuries from that event. And we did have the photographs of her injuries. We did not want to confuse the record as to whether or not there was a battery that occurred on November 20th.
Your Honor, I object to that. What does the letter read?
You have the letter. You showed it to me, sir.
And I've been trying to find it ever since I came back in here. And now all of a sudden I can't.
And now
find
you're impugning, though, like somehow you're impugning the integrity of this court,
No,
of
I'm
the
not.
bailiffs of this state. You're accusing, frankly, everyone
Did I
of
point
moving
the
your
finger?
papers.
Did I point the finger at anyone? Did I say anyone did anything?
Not directly, but indirectly you did,
So
sir.
how can you make the assumption that I'm saying?
Can
that
I
I'm
please
pointing to
make the
someone?
record without
Yes,
you interrupting
yes, you may.
me?
Yes,
He
you may.
literally sat
apologize.
there and
I
said,
appreciate that,
who
thank
took my
you.
paper? Who took my paper?
You made repeated
I'm not insane. That
comments,
just
sir, about
we're all not insane. That
the-
just
I
happened.
can't find my documents. I don't know what happened. Things of that nature. When you came back out, you took multiple minutes before you even asked your first question of Miss Patterson. And if I need to, I'll have a bailiff put on the record that no one touched your table.
Your Honor, did I say anyone touched my table? I didn't
You
say
implied it.
Oh my
sir.
But
God.
did I say that?
You
I never
you stated
said.
it implicitly.
I never asked the bailiffs, hey, did any one of you touch my table? I never said that
Oh,
to them.
shut
I just
up.
said,
The
I can't
semantics
find
with
my
this
paper,
guy,
which is the
dude.
truth.
Shut
And
up.
the way that
You were
you
clearly
said it,
accusing
like,
everybody of
I
stealing
didn't
your
point
papers.
fingers out, though.
You fucking
And
loser.
like, well,
I don't
that's
think that
kind
that's
of
fair.
interesting.
I don't
I don't
think that
have a
that's fair to
document that was
assume.
just on my table. That is what you said.
That's
Words
what
to
I
that
said,
effect.
but I did not point the finger at anyone.
So
I
you
can see
have
if
the
I
letter.
came in, Your Honor, with
You've
all
been
respect,
given.
I can see if I came in and said, hey, one of you moved something off my
He's
table.
like a little
Or if I
boy
would've
who's had his
directed that
hand
towards
caught in the
state, or if
cookie
I
jar and
directed
is
that
now
towards the clerks or something
backing
like
off
that,
all of the
then
mean
it
thing
would
he
be-
said to his mom.
That would be more of a validity to what you're saying.
I need to continue with
Yes,
the record,
let her
sir.
speak.
It's very apparent to me, sir, that every time, I can't say every time because that would be an absolute, but many times throughout this trial, and especially the last 2 days, when the court makes a ruling that you disagree with, or I want to make a record about some behavior of yours, or a further record about a ruling that you that was not in your favor, that you start peppering me with questions or comments, statements. You question me about the law. You ask, is it verified law? It is, from my perspective, a clear attempt to kind of turn us in a direction away from what we're doing, perhaps even to stall.
He does the same thing when he's running out of questions.
That's my
Feel that way.
perspective.
He'll
that
like
I'm
deliberately
making
ask a
rule.
question
You're
he
doing
knows
it
somebody's
again.
going
I
to
mean, because
object
it has
to,
no validity.
and then rather than
So
finishing his testimony
I am
or
trying
basically
to make a
admitting that
record
he's run out of
outside
questions
the
and has nothing to
presence of the
say,
jury,
he'll argue with
about
the judge until she closes
a
his
line of
testimony for him.
questioning you want to
That way he can accuse the
ask
court of
Ms.
judicial
Patterson.
misconduct.
Now, I've reviewed repeatedly up on the bench 90608 and 90616.
We don't need to hear her make a record of those laws, so let's just jump ahead. Click.
Number one, when did you receive this letter?
I received this multiple letters actually over a period of time. It wasn't. I referred to this one because this one had the pictures, but
And why do you
the
believe
one
it was from
to
Ms.
answer your
Patterson?
question, to answer your question with clarity,
Thank you. Does it have a date on it? The letter?
no, I didn't bring the letter. I brought the pictures because I thought, from my interpretation, I thought showing the pictures would be okay. How did I get these?
That's retarded.
So my mind was saying, show the pictures. They didn't come out of thin air. The witness
We need
knows
the
that
letter.
they sent me the pictures. They know that.
Well, again, it assumes facts that aren't here. You're assuming this witness sent it. I don't know. But even if she did, what relevance does it have to her credibility before this jury?
It goes to the credibility because she's put on this facade of being so afraid of someone, but yet still, you know that we're not supposed to have contact, but you still sneaking behind and saying, oh, I wonder how you're doing, and oh, this and this and that. Oh,
I don't think
no, I
she's
still
ever
love
said
you.
she was
Oh,
afraid. I think
Projecting much? Well, now we know it clearly really hurts him that Erica's not sending him letters that say, I love you, how you doing, and this and that. Apparently, letters are actually a really big thing in jail. Getting letters from loved ones is basically verification that you have people who care about you, when so much of their social lives is dictated by status. People can and will often tend to exaggerate or even outright lie about what their lives are like back home. When everyone is in custody, it can be really hard to dispute that, so a letter is tangible proof that what you're claiming is true. Darrell probably told everybody and their brother, just like in his interrogation, that he has a girlfriend and he has his 5 kids that live with him at the end of the week. Think of how much of a laughingstock he became when everyone else in the jail saw the trial and learned that that was all lies. I mean, he told the court and everyone in the nation he had 20 people who wanted to speak for his sentencing, and only 3 actually showed up. He has 5 kids. Not one of them came up to his defense. He's basically all alone with nobody to talk to but his mommy. It's probably every night. The caged bird, the sharpest air cage bait, seldom sees through their bars rage. That's mean. I'm sorry. She didn't do anything wrong. She's just a lovely woman.
I think that was the officers who may have stated that, but I don't believe she
But-
ever said that. She specifically said today when you asked her why did you, it was either why did you go back or why did you have, I'll look at my notes, and she said, I don't know.
It was why weren't you forthright with all the details? That was the question.
So again, I'm going to ask you, even if this letter's from her, these pictures are from her. How does it
Your
relate
Honor.
to her credibility before the jury?
Who else could these pictures be from?
I like how he makes his face like, come
I'm
on,
gonna
what
ask you
are we
point blank,
doing
did you
here,
get a
Your
letter
Honor? Like,
that's signed
obviously
from her?
it's from
What do
her.
you mean sign? No
How
one
do you know?
signs letters.
What's your why do
What?
you have a belief?
Everybody
that they are from
signs
I have
letters.
multiple
That's
letters
like
from
one of the
her.
main
Answering my
components
question.
of a letter. Is you write
Why do
who
you
you're writing
believe the
to
letters
and
are
who the
from
letter's
Erika
from.
Patterson?
I have never gotten a
Because
letter
they
that was
were
not
sent
signed. That
from
is the
Erika
stupidest
Patterson.
thing he
Why
said.
else would I?
Were they signed by her?
What do you mean signed?
Did she write her name on the letter? Was
Are
it the
you-
content
are you
of the
kidding
letter?
This
No, I'm
has
not
to
kidding you. I
be
need
the
to make a
clearest
record that
example
you're
of how thin
making a
some of his
statement
positions
that
are.
these letters are from
None
her
of
and
what
that
he
they're
is saying
relevant to her
makes any
credibility.
sense right now.
Your Honor, I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
And I'm asking you why you hold that opinion.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and assume, which I know is true, you've never been in my position. You've never been in jail. So you've never received a letter from someone writing someone in jail.
He's like talking down to her with this condescending tone, like flexing that he's in jail, as if he's privy to some secret knowledge to how jail letters are written. I'm certain they're written just like every other letter. You moron. Nothing to be proud of, by the way.
No one is gonna when you
You're
say
not
to me,
answering my
when
question,
you say to
sir.
me,
What's the basis why you believe they're from Miss Patterson? Is there some information in them that only she would know? Did she sign the letters? Is it penmanship that you recognize? Why do you believe they're from her as opposed to somebody else sending you information? Could be your mom, could be, I'm just saying, could be anybody else. You got to answer my question. It's called an offer of proof.
But you still got to understand why this is mind-boggling to me. Like how
Mind-boggling.
I got
This
a child
is
with this.
mind-boggling.
Why would I not know her handwriting?
Mind-boggling.
But you have to
Why
lay
would
a
I not know?
foundation for these letters, sir. That might be
This
through
is
your own
ridiculous.
testimony. So that I'm trying to figure out why you believe they're from her. Not all this other stuff
Are
about
you
I'm in
serious?
jail and I have a child. I'm trying to I need to know. It's called an offer of proof.
Are you
It's just
serious?
textbook
What do you
gaslighting.
believe?
He has
Why do you believe
no evidence
they're from
anymore to
her?
back
I
up
am
his
serious.
position,
And
so
you
it's
Because
can't
he's
they're
making
from her.
her out to be the stupid one.
But you're
Because
How-
they're
how
from
is it not
her!
answer that?
It's
I've
obvious!
given you a few reasons why it would lend to that opinion.
So it has to be put in a legal
The
term
bottom
or
line is
something?
I need the letter.
Yes,
So if
you're
gonna
in
question
court,
her on
dude.
that, the state
Everything
absolutely
needs
has a
to be
right
put
see
in
the
a legal
letter.
term.
So you need to provide that letter. The bottom line is I'm not going to allow any questioning without having that letter.
So
The
what
state
about-
has the ability to question you about that or question this witness and to look at the veracity of what your claims are here. So I may take an early lunch. If that's in your cell, then you can go get it and bring it. But without that letter, I'm not allowing this line of questioning. Do you have the letter with
So-
you in court?
I just said no. How many
Okay.
times I got to say the same thing on record?
Oh my god, he is so disrespectful to her. Regardless of how he feels about Jennifer Darrow as the person, when she wears that robe and sits at that bench, she is a judge. She is a living embodiment of the law. It's the reason she sits higher than everybody else. Because when she presides over a case, she is bound by her oath and her duty to uphold those proceedings. She is literally and figuratively not on his level. And why he thinks, after a few weeks of jailhouse law school, he knows better than a woman who got her law degree at an Ivy League school, practiced as a working attorney for years, and now sits as a practicing judge presiding over his murder trial is, I gotta say, mind-boggling.
Sometimes, sir, I don't hear what you say because you interrupt me so much or you answer quietly. And I'm taking notes and I'm focused on probably a dozen things at the same time.
But if I say something under my breath, everybody seems to hear it. Everybody seems to hear
In
that
a
just
quiet
fine.
courtroom,
And everybody
yes, we can
assumes-
hear it very
and
clearly.
everybody assumes that it has to be disparaging. Or,
Once again, you're doing this tactic.
Because
you tried
it's
to
not a
go
tactic,
off
it's
of what
facts.
we're talking
It's
about
facts.
to some other reason.
It's facts.
to
Because
some
I
other
find
thing.
it hard to believe that
I'm gonna
all
let
of
the
a sudden
state.
nobody hears what I say.
I'm gonna let the
Come on,
state
man,
make
stop.
a record of why they
Stop.
believe it's objectionable, because I haven't let them do that. I've given you multiple opportunities to tell me why you
So
believe it's.
I didn't get these pictures from
Oh, shit,
nobody
here we
else.
go. Get your
Why was
popcorn.
The
somebody
record
It's
will
coming.
reflect you have 2 pictures
Oh,
that
I'm
you
so
believe
excited.
were from this witness.
that I know is from him.
No, that you
Which y'all
believe.
gonna fuck
That I
him
know.
up.
All right, I'll ask the state their position on all of this.
My position, Your Honor, is that these pictures, first of all, should not be admissible. 1, because of a discovery violation. We've never seen them before. 2, because we have reason to believe that he did not get them from Erika Patterson. He is on a jail phone call talking to his mother, Dawn Woods, about Dawn Woods sending these photographs to him. Now,
That's
Boom.
a lie. I object to
Let the
that.
state make their argument without interruption, sir.
That's a lie, though.
3, I believe that these photographs are designed to make a suggestion to the jury that Erika Patterson is a bad mom. I think that is what the defendant is trying to do. And if we're going to go down that road, then we would be forced to counter
Let
that
it
claim.
go,
First
man,
of all,
let
it
it
doesn't
go,
make
come
her
on.
an incredible witness, if it's even true. And second of all, if we go down that road, we would be forced to counter that claim by pointing out that not only does the defendant not live with the child in question, he doesn't live with any of the other children that he has. He impregnated Erika Patterson when she was a minor in Nevada, and for doing so, he was convicted of statutory sexual seduction, pled guilty in March of 2007 to that felony offense, and is a sex offender on the registry.
Boom! And there it is! That's right, DB is an SO! Zach Wichow, ladies and gentlemen, with the kill shot. He held his tongue the entire trial. He is a sex offender. He was a pretender. He's on the registry from the sex magistry. He can't pick up his kids from school because he thought little girls were cool. He's getting so mad.
As a result. So if there's any causation that would lead to Erika Patterson being a bad mom, Mr. Brooks has a direct role in that causation.
And that's
Furthermore,
I object to that.
I'm not
because
done.
that's a lie.
Let him
Because at
finish.
the end of the day,
Let
if
him
we
finish.
gonna open the door on
He's
our
not
since
even-
you
he's
wanna
got
make a
more.
record, not be accurate,
Furthermore.
so let's be accurate on
Get
the
him.
record since you think you know so much.
Once
So
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on.
being
We can
loud,
open the door on how old she told me
disrespectful,
she was when we
interrupting.
met. We can ask that.
Oh,
He's
the old,
over the top
she
animated
told me
like
she's
that.
18
Mr. Brooks,
defense.
I'm ordering you to sit
Doesn't
down
hold
and
up
let the
legally,
state finish.
and it probably isn't even true. I mean, let's face it, this guy is disgusting. He knew
Under
she was
Illinois
15.
versus Allen, I've warned
And
him
any sex
repeatedly,
offender
he's
that
being
uses the
removed
she
from the
told me
courtroom.
she was 18
And you know
defense
what?
is
Dial that.
glaringly
He's gonna take
guilty
early
of
lunch,
whatever their
1
sex
hour,
crimes
he'll be
are.
back,
Look at
and,
that face.
Unless he brings that letter, he can show
Oh my
it is
God.
inadmissible. She will not be
Oh, what a
questioned.
loser.
611, I will declare the
That's right. We
cross-examination
all know now,
closed.
man. It's all out in the
Thank you for
open.
the recess.
Okay, guys. This has been really fun. Gonna wrap it up. This one went really long, but this has been a blast making this. I'm having a good time making these videos, and I want to make more. So, do the whole YouTube crap, whatever, like, subscribe, blah, 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 and I will see you in the next one, okay? Alright, guys, bye.